Have you finished your meal, Highness?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you haven't lost your appetite, whatever may be wrong with you.
I've never had anything like it.
Oh, you don't remember. You must still be suffering from sunstroke. I do hope you'll get your wits about you soon. When we return, you're to get your first suit of armour and your first war horse for your birthday. Oh, think of it. In a few years, if all goes well, High King Peter has promised your father that he himself will make you a knight at Cair Paravel.
A knight?
Yes. Oh, but it wouldn't do you any harm to have a little sleep now that you've eaten. I'll call you in plenty of time to get on board the ship. And then home.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Maybe the real Prince Corin won't turn up until after we've all escaped. Oh, that wouldn't be so bad. Getting a horse and... Oh, becoming a knight and... Aravis didn't want me to go with them anyway. They'll wait at the tombs and then give up on me and go. See how high and mighty Aravis is when she finds out I've become a prince. What?
Shasta jumped off the sofa, staring. She saw at once, from the mere look of the room, the lights and shadows all looked different, that he'd fallen asleep and had been asleep for several hours. He saw also what had made the crash. A costly porcelain vase, which had been standing on the windowsill, now lay broken on the floor. But he hardly noticed all these things. What he did notice was two hands gripping the windowsill from outside. They gripped harder and harder, getting white at the knuckles, and then up came a head and a pair of shoulders. A moment later, there was a boy of Shasta's own age sitting astride the sill with one leg hanging down inside the room.
Oh, I say. Who are you?
Are you Prince Corin?
Yes, yes, of course. But who are you?
I'm nobody. Nobody in particular, I mean.
Shasta had never seen his own face in a looking-glass. Even if he had, he might not have realized that the other boy was normally almost exactly like himself. But at the moment, this boy was not particularly like anyone, for he had the finest black eye you ever saw, and a tooth missing, and his clothes, which must have been splendid ones when he put them on, were torn and dirty, and there was both blood and mud on his face.
What are you doing here?
King Edmund caught me in the street and mistook me for you. I suppose we must look like one another. Can I get out the way you've got in?
Yes, if you're any good at climbing.
I better be going then.
Hang on. Why are you in such a hurry? I say, we ought to be able to get some fun out of this, being mistaken for one another.
No, we must change places at once. It'll be simply frightful if Mr. Tumnus comes back and finds us both here. I've had to pretend to be you. And you're leaving tonight, secretly.
Huh?
And where were you all this time anyway?
A boy in the street made a beastly joke about Queen Susan, so I knocked him down. He went howling into a house, and his big brother came out. So I knocked the big brother down. Then they all followed me until we ran into 3 old men with spears, who are called the Watch. So I fought the Watch, and they knocked me down. It was getting dark by now. Then the Watch took me along to lock me up somewhere, so I asked them if they'd like some wine, and they said they didn't mind if they did. Then I took them to a wine shop and got them some, and they all sat down and drank till they fell fast asleep. I thought it was time for me to be off, so I came out quietly, and then I found the first boy, the one who had started the whole trouble, still hanging about. So I knocked him down again. After that, I climbed up a pipe onto the roof of a house and lay quiet till it began to get light this morning. Ever since that, I've been finding my way back. I say, is there anything to drink?
No, I drank it. Now will you please show me how you got in? There's not a minute to lose. You'd better lie down on the sofa and pretend that... Oh, no, I forgot. It'll be no good with all those bruises and a black eye. You'll just have to tell them the truth, once I'm safe away.
Well, what else did you think I'd be telling them? And who are you, anyway?
There's no time. I'm a Narnian, I believe. Something northern, anyway. but I've been brought up all my life in Calorman, and I'm escaping across the desert with a talking horse called Bree, and now, quick, how do I get away?
Drop from this window onto the roof of the veranda. Then along the wall to the corner. Drop onto the rubbish heap you'll find outside, and there you are.
Thanks.
Goodbye and good luck. Oh, I say, I do hope you get safe away. I'd like to meet you again in Archenland one day. Go to my father, King Loon, and tell him you're a friend of mine. Oh, look out! I hear someone coming.
Goodbye.
Because he looked like any other slave or beggar, Shasta had little trouble making his way through Tashbaan. Still, he was anxious and uneasy, until he turned a corner and there saw the city gate in front of him. Here he was pressed and jostled a bit, for a good many other people were also going out. It was a slow procession through the gate, then onto a bridge beyond the gate.
Sorry.
He followed a road that took him up a short slope covered with gardens. He reached the top, and it was like coming to the end of the world. For all the grass stopped, quite suddenly, a few feet before him, and there was something he'd never seen the like of. A great yellowish-grey thing, flat as a calm sea and stretching for miles. On the far side of it were huge blue things, lumpy but with jagged edges, and some of them with white tops. It was the desert and the northern mountains. But before that, about 5 minutes' walk away, on his left, were great masses of mouldering stone, shaped like giant beehives, but a little narrower. They were just as Bree had described them, the tombs of the ancient kings. By the time Shasta reached them, they looked black and grim, for the sun was now setting right behind them. He looked for any sign of his friends, but could see hardly anything. He expected he would find them on the far side of the farthest tomb away from the city. There were about 12 tombs, each with low arched doorways that opened into absolute blackness. They were dotted in no kind of order, so that it took a long time going round this one and going round that one before you could be sure that you'd looked round every side of every tomb. This was what Shasta had to do. There was nobody there.
What's that? Don't be a silly little coward. They're closing the gates. So where are they? Either they're shut up in Tashbaan for the night, or else they've gone on without me. It's just the sort of thing Aravis would do. But Bree wouldn't. Would he? Oh, I'd rather not spend the night here alone. What? Oh, a cat. Here, kitty kitty. Here, kitty kitty. I suppose you're not a talking cat. Of course not. Where are you going? A little company is better than none. Wait!
The cat led him through the tombs and out on the desert side of them. There it sat down bolt upright with its tail curled round its feet and its face set towards the desert and towards Narnia and the north, as still as if it were watching for some enemy. Shasta lay down beside it with his back against the cat and his face towards the tombs. Because if one is nervous, there's nothing like having your face towards the danger and having something warm and solid at your back. Very soon he fell asleep, though even in his dreams he kept on wondering what had happened to Bree and Aravis and Hwyn.
Huh? What was that? Oh, perhaps it's only a nightmare. I hope it's not more lions. Whatever they are, there's more than one of them. And they're coming nearer.
I suppose that if Shasta had been an entirely sensible boy, he would have gone back through the tombs nearer to the river where there were houses, and wild beasts would be less likely to come. But to go back through the tombs would mean going back past those dark openings in the tombs, and what might come out of them. It may have been silly, but Shasta felt he'd rather risk the wild beasts. Then as the cries came nearer and nearer, he began to change his mind. He was just going to run for it, when suddenly, between him and the desert, a huge animal bounded into view. As the moon was behind it, it looked quite black, and Shasta didn't know what it was, except that it had a very big, shaggy head and went on 4 legs. It didn't seem to have noticed Shasta, for it suddenly stopped, turned its head towards the desert, and let out a roar which echoed through the tombs and seemed to shake the sand under Shasta's feet. The cries of the other creatures suddenly stopped, and he thought he could hear feet scampering away. Then the great beast turned to examine Shasta.
It's a lion. I know it's a lion. I'm done. I hope it doesn't hurt much. There it comes. I can't bear to look.
But instead of teeth and claws, he only felt something warm lying down at his feet. And when he opened his eyes again, he said,
The cat? I must have dreamed the entire thing. Dream or not, I'll never do anything nasty to a cat again, as long as I live. I did once, you know. I threw stones at a half-starved, mangy old stray. Ow! Hey, stop that! You scratched me! What's got into you?
The cat stared at him with big, green, unwinking eyes. And he at once lay down again, back to back with the cat, as they had been at the beginning of the night. The warmth spread all over him. Then he dozed off.
Gone to. It's awfully hot.
Shasta, very thirsty, looked out at the desert. It was blindingly white, and though there was a murmur of noises from the city behind, the city gates had been open several hours, everything was perfectly still. The next job clearly was to get something to eat and drink. Shasta trotted back through the tombs and wondered how he could ever have been afraid of them. He went down into the cultivated land by the river's side. There were a few people about, but not many, so he had no difficulty in doing a little raiding, as Bree called it. He climbed over a garden wall, and the results were 3 oranges, a melon, a fig or 2, and a pomegranate. After that, he went down to the riverbank, but not too close to the bridge, and had a drink. Then, worried that he might miss the others, he raced back to the tombs. Like most days when you're alone and waiting for something, this day seemed about 100 hours long. Shasta wondered about the Narnians and Corin. A dozen plans went through his head, just in case Bree, Hwin, and Arabis had already left without him. He finally fixed on the worst plan of all, to wait till it was dark, and then go back to the river and steal as many melons as he could carry, and set out for the north alone. Before the sun set, and after the city gates were closed for the night, something happened. Shasta was sitting in the shadow of one of the tombs when he looked up and saw 2 horses coming towards him. Then his heart gave a great leap, for he recognized them as Bree and Hwin. But the next moment his heart went down into his toes. There was no sign of Arabis. The horses were being led by a strange man, an armed man, pretty handsomely dressed, like an upper slave in a great family. Bree and Hwin were no longer disguised as pack horses, but saddled and bridled.
It's a trap! Someone has caught Aravis. And perhaps they've tortured her. And she's given the whole thing away. Oh, now they're coming to catch me too. Oh, I do wish I knew what had happened.
So Shasta hid behind the tomb, looking out every few minutes and wondering what to do. The stranger led Bree and Hwyn to the shadow of a nearby tomb, where Shasta could see them clearly. Then, to Shasta's open-mouthed surprise, Aravis arrived, dressed not in her peasant's disguise, but in the fine clothes of a superior house slave. How Aravis, Bree and Hwyn wound up in such good condition was more than Shasta could guess. But he didn't move, for fear that something was amiss. Aravis approached the stranger and said,
"You can go back to your mistress now. Here is money for your pains."
To hear is to obey.
Oh, Win, Bree, it worked! It worked!
Thanks be to the line it did.
And here comes Shasta.
Oh, well, I say, this is quite a reunion. And how have you gone from being a peasant and 2 pack horses to this?
There's no time to explain now. I've learned that Prince Rabadash is mounting an expedition of 200 men and their horses to cross the desert and attack the city of Anvard in the unsuspecting Archenland, and then Narnia itself.
Treacherous hounds! An attack in time of peace.
Why would they attack now?
Because the Narnian queen rejected the prince's suit of marriage and then slipped away in their ship.
So Susan, Edmund and Corin escaped then. Oh, good.
You knew about it?
I heard their plans during the confusion, when they thought I was Prince Corin.
They truly thought you were a prince?
Yes. Prince Corin and I resemble one another. If only a little, I suppose. I met him. He helped me to get away, in fact.
We've no time to lose.
Now, don't be anxious, little lady. We'll grease the prince's oats for him. We'll get there before he will.
Will we?
Can we?
Can we? And with a good start, too. Up you get, Shasta. Now, on to Hwyn, Aravis.
But he said he was going to start at once.
That's how humans talk. But you don't get a company of 200 horse and horsemen, watered, fed, armed and saddled and started all in a minute. Now, what's our direction? Due north?
No. I know about that from the Talking Raven.
A talking raven?
He was with the Narnians. Look, a little to the left and west. Do you see those mountains on the far side of the desert?
Hardly. It's growing so dark.
Keep trying.
I see it.
So do I.
Yes.
Now, do you see the one blue height that divides into 2 peaks at the top? That's Mount Pyre. That's our direction, judging by what the Raven said.
Right. But let's be clearer about something. All that nonsense about galloping for a day and a night like in stories can't really be done. It must be walk and trot. But brisk trots and short walks. And whenever we walk, you 2 humans can slip off and walk too. Now, are you ready, Hwyn?
Ready.
Then off we go. To Narnia and the north.
To Narnia and the north.
At first, their journey was delightful. The night had been going on for so many hours that the sand had almost finished giving back all the sun heat it had received during the day. And the air was cool, fresh, and clear. Under the moonlight, the sand gleamed as if it was smooth water or a great silver tray. Except for the noise of Bree's and Hwyn's hoofs, there was not a sound to be heard. Shasta would nearly have fallen asleep if he'd not had to dismount and walk every now and then. It was during one of their walks that Shasta and Aravis filled in the missing pieces of their stories.
So I waited for you by the tombs, hoping you were safe, or that you hadn't left me behind.
Left you behind? We would not be so dishonourable.
So what happened to you then?
Well, after I saw you hurried away by the Narnians, I grabbed Bree's halter and waited for a moment. Oh, I wasn't sure what to do, except to move on to a place where I could think and confer privately with Bree and Wynne. But before we could go, another parade came through with servants carrying a litter. This one contained another Tarkina, called Lazareline. Fortunately, I know her well. We have often stayed in the same houses and been to the same parties. She saw me in the crowd and cried out for me. Without a second's delay, I let go of the horses and leapt into her litter.
Aravis, what on earth are you doing here? Your father...
Shut up! Do you hear? You must hide me. Tell your people.
But darling...
Do what I tell you, or I'll never speak to you again. Please, please be quick. Tell your people to bring those 2 horses along. Pull all the curtains of the litter and get away somewhere where I can't be found. Oh, and do hurry!
All right, darling. Here, you slave, take the Tarkina's horses. And now home.
Yes, ma'am.
I say, darling, do you think we really want the curtains drawn on a day like this? I mean to say...
Yes! I mustn't be seen. My father doesn't know I'm here. I'm running away.
My dear, how perfectly thrilling. I'm dying to hear all about it. Darling, you're sitting on my dress. Do you mind? That's better. It's a new one. Do you like it? I got it at the
Lazareline, do be serious. Where is my father?
Didn't you know? He's here, of course. Came to town yesterday and is asking about you everywhere. And to think of you and me being here together and he's not knowing anything about it. It's the funniest thing I ever heard.
It isn't funny at all. It's dreadfully serious. Where can you hide me?
Oh, no difficulty at all, my dear girl. I'll take you home. My husband's away and no one will see you. It's not much fun with the curtains drawn. I want to see people. There's no point in having a new dress on if one's going to go about shut up like this.
Oh, another thing. You must tell your people to treat those 2 horses very respectfully. That's part of the secret. They're really talking horses from Narnia.
Fancy, how exciting. And oh, darling, have you seen the barbarian queen from Narnia? She's staying in Tashbaan at present. They say Prince Rabadash is madly in love with her. There've been the most wonderful parties and hunts and things all the last fortnight. I can't see she's so very pretty myself. But some of the Narnian men are lovely. I was taken out on a river party the day before
Lazareline, how shall we prevent your people telling everyone that you've got a visitor, dressed like a beggar's brat in your house? Oh, it might so easily get round to my father.
Now, don't keep on fussing, dear. We'll get you some proper clothes in a moment. And here we are. Now listen, all of you, and you doorkeeper. No one is to be let out of the house today. And anyone I catch talking about this young lady will first be beaten to death and then burned alive, and after that be kept on bread and water for the next 6 weeks. There.
Oh, weren't you afraid she'd still give you away?
Oh, every minute I was with her, but I didn't have a choice. Besides, Lazareline wasn't really interested in my circumstances. She is, in fact, much better at talking than listening. So she talked and talked while I ate, had a bath and changed clothes. I heard all about her wardrobe and her parties and all the latest gossip. Finally, she surprised me by asking why I was running away from home. After I told her the whole story, and she tried to talk me into marrying a Hoshter anyway, I persuaded her to help me come up with a plan of escape.
What was your plan?
Yes, what is your plan, darling?
I want you to instruct one of your grooms to fill my horse's saddlebags with provisions and water, and then take them to the tombs. He is to wait for me there. No one would think twice of a groom with 2 horses leaving the city. But what about me? I suppose I could be carried out in the litter with the curtains drawn.
Oh, darling, that will never do. Litters are only used inside the city. The sight of one going out through the gate would lead to questions. Oh, I have an idea. There is one way of getting out of the city without using the gates. The Tisrock's garden, may he live forever, runs right down to the water, and there's a little water door. Only for palace people, of course, but then you know, dear, we almost are palace people. I say it is lucky for you that you came to me. Why shouldn't I slip in with you after dark and let you out by the water door? There are always a few punts and things tied up outside it. And even if we were caught...
All would be lost.
Oh, darling, don't get so excited. I was only going to say, even if we were caught, everyone would only say it was one of my mad jokes. I'm getting quite well known for them. Only the other day... Do listen, dear, this is frightfully funny.
I meant all would be lost for me.
Oh, yes, I do see what you mean, darling. Well, can you think of any better plan?
No, we'll have to risk it. When can we start?
Oh, not tonight. Of course not tonight. There's a great feast on, and I must start getting my hair done for it in only a few minutes. And the whole place will be a blaze of lights, and such a crowd, too. It would have to be tomorrow night.
So you had an entire night and the following day, eating the best food, sleeping on the best beds?
Listening to Lazareline giggle and talk about dresses and parties and weddings and engagements and scandals. Oh, it was nice to sleep in a comfortable bed, I admit. But I thought I would go mad with the rest of it. She also tried to talk me out of running away to Narnia at all.
I've heard that it is a country of perpetual snow and ice and is inhabited by demons and sorcerers. You're simply mad to think of going there. And with a peasant boy, too. Darling, think of it. It's not nice.
Just before the sun set, I went down to the stables and explained to Bree and Gwyn my plan. Then I suppered with Lazareline, and about 2 hours later we were ready to start. I was dressed to look like a superior slave girl in a great house and wore a veil over my face. We agreed that if any questions were asked, Lazareline would pretend that I was a slave she was taking as a present to one of the princesses. Finally, we went to the palace. The guards knew Lazareline and let us through.
You may pass.
After that, we were merely 2 more women in a household of courtiers, slaves and guests. We eventually reached the old palace, but it had grown quite dark and we found ourselves in a maze of corridors, lit only by occasional torches. Oh, it was only a matter of time.
She got you lost, didn't she?
Oh, hopelessly lost. We stopped in a corridor to get our sense of direction. Then we heard voices coming. Then Lazareline saw the shapes of 2 men walking backwards, carrying tall candles. And she realised it was only royalty who get to have people walk backwards in front of them. She panicked and dragged me into a nearby room. It was a bad choice.
Why?
It was one of the Tisrock's chambers.
Yes. May he live forever.
Afraid that someone might come in, we hid behind a sofa until we were sure it was safe. Just when we thought it was, the door opened.
Who came in?
The Tisrock, may he live forever, and Prince Rabadash. Oh, we thought we were doomed. We were then convinced of it when we heard why the 2 of them were meeting so secretly.
Oh, my father, may you live forever, but you have destroyed me. If you had given me the swiftest galleys at sunrise when I first saw that the ship of the accursed Narnians was gone, I would perhaps have overtaken them. But you persuaded me to send first and see if they'd not merely moved round the point into better anchorage. And now the whole day's been wasted and they are gone, gone, gone!
Compose yourself, O my son. For the departure of guests makes a wound that is easily healed in the heart of a judicious host.
But I want her! I must have her. I shall die if I do not get her. False, proud, black-hearted daughter of a dog that she is. I must have the barbarian queen, or...
Or what, my son?
I desire and propose, O my father, that you immediately call out your invincible armies and invade the thrice accursed land of Narnia and waste it with fire and sword, killing their high king and all of his blood, except the Queen Susan, for I must have her as my wife, though she shall learn a sharp lesson first.
Understand, O my son, that no words you can speak will move me to open war against Narnia.
If you were not my father, O ever-living Tisrock, I should say that that was the word of a coward.
And if you were not my son, O most inflammable Rabadash, your life would be short and your death slow when you had said it.
But why, O my father, will you not punish Narnia for this offence to me? 1,000 spears could conquer it in 5 weeks.
Most undoubtedly. These little barbarian countries that call themselves free, which is as much as to say idle, disordered, and unprofitable, are hateful to the gods and to all persons of discernment.
Then why have we suffered such a land as Narnia to remain thus long unsubdued?
Because it is a land of strong magic. It is inhabited by demons in the shape of beasts that talk like men, and monsters that are half man and half beast. It is commonly reported that the High King of Narnia is supported by a demon of hideous aspect and irresistible maleficence, who appears in the shape of a lion. Therefore, the attacking of Narnia is a dark and doubtful enterprise, and I am determined not to put my hand out farther than I can draw it back.
Oh, my father, how if I show you a way by which you can stretch out your arm to take Narnia, and yet draw it back unharmed if the attempt prove unfortunate?
If you can show me that, O Rabadash, you will be the best of sons.
Hear then, O father, this very night and in this hour, I will take but 200 horse and ride across the desert, and it shall seem to all men that you know nothing of my going. On the second morning, I shall be at the gates of King Loon's castle of Anvard in Arkenland. They are at peace with us and unprepared, and I shall take Anvard before they have bestirred themselves. Then I will ride through the pass above Anvard and down through Narnia to Car Paravel. I shall find it most likely with open gates and ride in. I shall exercise prudence and courtesy and spill as little Narnian blood as I can. And what then remains but to sit there till the Splendor Haline sails in with Queen Susan on board, catch my strayed bird as she sets foot ashore, swing her into the saddle, and then ride back to Anvard.
But is it not probable, O my son, that at the taking of the woman, either King Edmund or you will lose his life?
They will be a small company, and I will order 10 of my men to disarm and bind him, restraining my vehement desire for his blood, so that there shall be no deadly cause of war between you and the High King.
And lastly, O my resourceful son, you have made clear how all this might give you the barbarian woman, but not how it helps me to the overthrowing of Narnia.
Oh, my father, can it have escaped you that though I and my horsemen will come and go through Narnia like an arrow from a bow, yet we shall have Anvard forever? And when you hold Anvard, you sit in the very gate of Narnia, and your garrison in Anvard can be increased by little and little, till it is a great host.
It is spoken with understanding and foresight. But how do I draw back my arm if all this miscarries?
You shall say that I did it without your knowledge and against your will, and without your blessing, being constrained by the violence of my love and the impetuosity of my youth.
Go, my son, and do as you have said, but expect no help nor countenance from me. I will not avenge you if you are killed, and I will not deliver you if the barbarians cast you into prison. And if, either in success or failure, you shed a drop more than you need of Narnian noble blood, and open war arises from it, my favor shall never fall upon you again, and your next brother shall have your place. Now go, be swift, secret, and fortunate. May the strength of Tash the inexorable, the irresistible, be in your sword and lance.
To hear is to obey.
Of all the sneaky, conniving...
Precisely.
How did you get out?
They eventually left the room, and we were able to find the proper passageway, which took me to the water gate. I said farewell to my friend.
Oh, Erebus, darling, won't you change your mind?
No, especially now that I've seen the Tisroc and the Prince for what they are.
Oh, Erebus, please don't speak against the Tisroc. May he live forever. It must be right if he's in favour of it.
Goodbye, Lazareline. I thought your dress is lovely, and I think your house is lovely too. I'm sure you'll have a lovely life, though it wouldn't suit me. Close the door softly behind me.
Goodbye, you poor misguided girl.
And then you made your way to the tombs.
Right.
If the two of you have finished your jawing, you may climb up again for a ride.
On and on through the desert they went. Slowly, very slowly, Shasta began to notice the vast, grey flatness on every side. It looked absolutely dead, like something in a dead world. And Shasta felt quite terribly tired, and noticed that he was getting cold, and that his lips were dry. Then the sun rose, and everything changed in a moment. The grey sand turned yellow and twinkled as if it was strewn with diamonds. The double peak of Mount Pyre far ahead flashed in the sunlight. Everyone felt better, but not for long. The light soon became a nuisance. The glare of the sand made Shasta's eyes ache. Then came the heat. On his first walk of the morning, the heat of the sand struck up at his face as if from the opening of an oven door. Next time, it was worse. The third time, as his bare feet touched the sand, he screamed with pain.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bree. I can't walk. It burns my feet.
Of course. Should have thought of that myself. Stay on. Can't be helped.
On again, trot and walk and trot. The smell of hot horse, the smell of hot self, the blinding glare, the headache. Till at last their shadows began to fall on their right, and then got longer and longer. Very slowly the sun drew nearer to the western horizon, and now at last it was down. The merciless glare was gone. 4 pairs of eyes continued to look out for any sign of the valley that Shasta had heard about.
Are you sure this talking raven knew what it was talking about?
Yes. He said there'd be a valley, and there will be.
But mile after mile there was nothing but level sand. And now the day was quite definitely done, and most of the stars were out, and still the horses pushed on, and the children were miserable with thirst and weariness. Not until the moon had risen did Shasta shout out.
There it is.
There was no mistaking it now. Ahead, and a little to their right, there was at last a slope and hummocks of rock on each side. The horses were far too tired to speak, but they swung round towards it, and in a minute or two they were entering a gully. They continued steeply downwards, passing prickly cactus-like plants and coarse grass. Soon the horse hoofs were falling on pebbles and stones instead of sand. Round every bend the 4 of them looked eagerly for water. The horses were at the end of their strength now. They were almost in despair before at last they came to a little muddiness and a tiny trickle of water through soft grass. And the trickle became a brook, and the brook became a stream with bushes on each side, and the stream became a river. Bree stopped at a broad pool where both the horses dropped their heads down to drink. Shasta and Aravis plunged in.
At last.
I could stay here forever.
Now, look, we mustn't get too comfortable.
And we mustn't go to sleep. We've got to keep ahead of that Rabbadash.
That's right. We're just having a little rest. And something to eat and drink.
Oh, did you hear that?
What?
It's a nightingale. Listen to it.
It's lovely.
Now, remember, A little rest. That's all.
Right. A little rest.
It was Aravis who awoke first. The sun was already high in the heavens, and the cool morning hours were already wasted. The others were dazed and stupid with the heaviness of their sleep. Bree was particularly sluggish, convinced as he was that they were still miles ahead of Rabadash, and he insisted on a morning snack. It must have been nearly 11 o'clock in the morning before they finally got going again. And even then, Bree took things much more gently than yesterday. They rode for several hours down the valley where it widened out. The river, which they'd been following, here joined a broader river, wide and turbulent, which flowed from their left to their right towards the east. Beyond this new river, a delightful country rose gently in low hills, ridge beyond ridge, to the northern mountains themselves. To the right, there were rocky pinnacles, one or two of them with snow clinging to the ledges.
It's beautiful.
To the left, pine-clad slopes, frowning cliffs, and blue peaks stretched away as far as the eye could reach.
Look, straight ahead. A pass!
Yes, and I think this river is called the Winding Arrow.
After casting about up and down the bank of the river, they found a place shallow enough to wade. When they reached the other side, Shasta was filled with a strange excitement as Bree announced,
The North! The Green North! Friends, we are in Arkenland.
Oh, isn't it simply gorgeous?
Oh, dear, but I hope we're in time.
Then they began going up, slowly, zigzagging a good deal, for the hills were steep. At the first ridge, Shasta turned in the saddle and looked back. There was no sign of Tashbaan. The desert, unbroken except by a narrow green crack which they had travelled down, spread to the horizon.
Hello? What's that?
What's what?
Back there, in the desert. It looks like smoke. Is it a fire?
Oh, sandstorm, I should say.
Not much wind to raise it.
Oh, look, there are things flashing in it.
Oh, those are helmets. And armour.
Oh, by Tash, it's the army! It's Rabadash and he's coming this way!
This is just what I was afraid of. Quick, we must get to Anvard before them.
The race to Anvard was very grueling for the horses. As they topped each ridge, they found another valley and another ridge beyond it. And though they knew they were going in more or less the right direction, no one knew how far it was to Anvard. From the top of the second ridge, Shasta looked back again.
Rabadash and his army are at the river now. They're trying to find a way to cross over.
Quick! We might as well not have come at all if we don't reach Anvard in time. Oh, hurry, Bree! Hurry! Remember, you're a war horse!
Both horses were doing, if not all they could, all they thought they could, which is not quite the same thing. Bree and Quinn thundered, side by side, over the turf. At that moment, everyone's feelings were completely altered by a sound from behind.
The lion! Oh, hurry, Bree! It's a lion!
Bree had already recognized the sound. His eyes gleamed red, and his ears lay flat back on his skull, as he now discovered that he'd not really been going fast, not quite as fast as he could. Shasta felt the change at once. Now they were going all out. In a few seconds, they were well ahead of Hwin.
Go, Bree, go!
Shasta looked over his shoulder. A huge tawny creature, its body low to the ground like a cat streaking across a lawn, was behind them. And it was nearer every second and half second. The lion was now close enough to snap at Hwin's hind legs. and there was no hope now in her foaming, flecked, wide-eyed face.
Stop, Bree! We must go back! We must help Gwyn!
Bree must not have heard him and didn't slow down. Shasta, worried about Gwyn and Aravis, slipped his feet out of the stirrups and jumped. It hurt horribly and nearly winded him. But before he knew how much it hurt him, he was staggering back to help Aravis. Aravis, Gwyn, and the lion were now almost on top of Shasta. Before they reached him, the lion rose on its hind legs, larger than you would have believed a lion could be. Aravis seemed to be trying to draw her sword. The lion jabbed at her with its right paw. Shasta could see all the terrible claws extended. The lion was tearing at her shoulder once, twice. Shasta, half mad with horror, managed to lurch towards the brute. He had no weapon, so he shouted out idiotically at the lion as one would to a dog.
Go home! Go home! Shoo! Shoo!
For a fraction of a second, he was staring right into its wide-open, raging mouth. Then, to his utter astonishment, the lion, still on its hind legs, checked itself and suddenly turned head over heels, picked itself up, and rushed away.
Oh, thank goodness.
Shasta then turned and saw something he'd not noticed before. A smooth green wall, about 10 feet high. In the middle of that wall, there was a gate, open. In the middle of the gateway stood a tall man, dressed down to his bare feet in a robe colored like autumn leaves, leaning on a straight staff. His beard fell almost to his knees. Gwyn was just entering the gate, stumbling and nearly fainting. Aravis was still in the saddle, but her back was covered with blood.
Come in! Come in!
Coming!
Welcome, my son.
Are you King Loon of Arkenland?
No, I am the Hermit of the Southern March. And now, my son, waste no time on questions, but obey. This damsel is wounded. Your horses are spent. But Rabadash is at this moment finding a ford over the winding Arrow River. If you run now without a moment's rest, you'll still be in time to warn King Loon.
Run? Now?
Yes.
But... Oh, where is the king?
Look through the courtyard. There is the northern gate. Open it and go straight ahead. Always straight ahead, over level or steep, over smooth or rough, over dry or wet. I know by my art that you will find King Loon straight ahead. But run. Run, always run.
Right. Run. Run. Always run.
And now for you, my friend.
Run. Run. Always run.
When Shasta went through the gate, he found a slope of grass and a little heather running up before him to some trees. He had nothing to think about now, and no plans to make. He had only to run, and that was quite enough. His limbs were shaking. A terrible stitch was beginning in his side, and the sweat that kept dropping into his eyes blinded them and made them smart. He was unsteady on his feet, too, and more than once he nearly turned his ankle on a loose stone. The trees were thicker now than they had yet been. The sun had gone in without making it any cooler. It had become one of those hot, grey days.
What's that? People! At last!
There were about 15 or 20 people in a wide glade. All were gentlemen in green hunting dress with their horses, some in the saddle and some standing by their horses' heads. In the centre, someone was holding a stirrup for a man to mount, and the man he was holding it for was the jolliest, fat, apple-cheeked, twinkling-eyed king you could imagine.
Corin! My son! And on foot, and in rags. What?
No, not Prince Corin. I know I'm like him. saw His Highness in Tashbar, and he said his greetings.
Well, this is most extraordinary.
It certainly is, my king.
Are you King Loon?
I am.
Lord King, you must fly to Anvard and shut the gates. Your enemies are upon you. A Rabadash and 200 horses.
Have you assurance of this, boy?
My own eyes, I've seen them. I raced them all the way from Tashbarn.
On foot?
Our horses are with the hermit.
But I don't...
Question him no more, Dorin. I see truth in his face. We must ride for it, gentlemen. A spare horse there for the boy.
Here, my liege.
You can ride fast, friend.
Yes, Your Highness.
He mounts a horse like a true horseman.
Aye.
I warrant there's a noble blood in him.
His blood, aye. There's the point. I will want to know more of this boy when we arrive in Anvard. Quickly now! We've no time to lose! To horse! Come on!
Get on horse. Hurry! We're losing them. Yeah! Oh, you're not a talking horse, are you? Oh, bother. Oh, come on, we're losing them. Yeah!
How do you find yourself, my daughter?
Oh, my back is very sore, Father. But there is nothing else wrong with me.
Yeah, there's no fever. You will do well. Indeed, there's no reason why you should not get up tomorrow.
Have I been asleep a long time? It seems to be getting dark.
This is not the darkness of night. The clouds are falling down from Stormness Head. Our foul weather always comes from there in these parts. There'll be a thick fog tonight. But now, drink this.
What is it?
Goat's milk. Drink.
Thank you. Oh, how are the horses, Win and Bree?
I've rubbed them both down and fed them. They're resting, as you should do. For your wounds are washed and dressed, and though they smart, they are no more serious than if they'd been the cuts of a whip. It must have been a very strange lion, for instead of catching you out of the saddle and getting his teeth into you, he's only drawn his claws across your back. 10 scratches. Sore, but not deep or dangerous.
I've been lucky.
Daughter, I've now lived 109 winters in this world and have never yet met any such thing as luck. There's something about all this that I do not understand. But if ever we need to know it, you may be sure that we shall.
What about Rabadash and his army?
They will not pass this way, I think. They must have found a ford by now, well to the east of us. From there they'll try to ride straight to Anvard.
Oh, poor Shasta. Has he far to go? Will he get there first?
There is a good hope of it. Now, daughter, you may sleep.
Oh, but I feel that I should do something.
There's nothing to be done now but rest. Tomorrow may be another matter altogether.
Oh, this is awful. How are we going to make our way through this fog? Oh, I can't see a thing. Well, the hunting party's gone. Oh, and we've reached a fork in the road. Now what are we going to do? Get on, horse, get on. Maybe you know your way home. Pick one or the other, will you? Oh, how I wish you were Bree. Well, I choose that way. Even if it is wrong, we're bound to get somewhere, sometime. What's that? It sounds like another hunting party. Oh, it's Rabadash! Oh no! This way, horse! Quickly, off the road! Oh, please do hurry! Hopefully they won't be able to see us in this fog.
Halt! Now attend, all of you! We are now within a furlong of the castle. Remember your orders! Once we are in Narnia, as we should be by sunrise, You are to kill as little as possible. On this venture, you are to regard every drop of Narnian blood as more precious than a gallon of your own. The time will come when the gods will send us a happier hour, and then you will leave nothing alive between Car Paravel and the Western Waste. But we are not yet in Narnia. Here in Archenland it is another thing. In the assault on this castle of King Loon's, nothing matters but speed. Show your mettle. It must be mine within an hour. And if it is, I give it all to you. I reserve no booty for myself. Kill me every barbarian male within its walls, down to the child that was born yesterday. And everything else is yours to divide as you please. In the name of Tash the Irresistible, the Inexorable, forward!